Okay. Hi guys, what's up? I hope you can hear me right, yeah? Yeah. So I have recently got no time. So I was just like, let me record this video. My parents went out to buy something. So I decided, okay, let me give it a minute. And this is something that I've been thinking about for a while. You know, here they go. I'm gonna relax on my chair. I never use this chair. I spent so much money on this chair and another one. I've got two expensive chairs. Never used them. Sad, but it's just a prop that whenever some kid comes to my home, I would, make them sit on this chair. But anyways, let's get to the main point. And the main point of this video is how to get rich or how to excel in your life in general and how to make it meaningful, right? I would separate this into two parts. Part one is the more psychological part, which is this one. And then I would have a part two, which I've already recorded. I recorded it months ago. I wanted to put it, but I haven't. So I'm gonna put the part two um, just after this, probably a day later. I have to edit it out a little bit, so I would do that and I would put it. But it has a more actionable plan on how to go through success and how to hard work into life, right? So here's how to get rich, here's how to get something meaningful done. So let's get started with who can and who cannot. I think not everybody can get rich or not everybody can get powerful or not everybody can be at the top. Problem is that most people think, and I think this has become a new notion where people have started, sort of telling each other ki anybody can be powerful, anybody can be rich, anybody can do anything they want. मतलब ये तो it has become a joke. Okay, I have been a listener for the last 10 years. For the last 10 years or so, I've been watching YouTube and I always try to listen to what people say and then I try to observe them and I try to learn something meaningful out of it. Generally, that's how I did everything. I learned everything that I have through YouTube, through internet, through other people. Here's my breakdown on how to get rich. Copy other people. Okay, not just in real life. I mean, in real life, how to get it out, I will explain in the next video. But um, in terms of just building out a sort of psychology for it, a sort of way for it, would be that you go and copy what other successful people are doing. Most of the time, these things never change. So if you go back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, what people were doing, as in, were people ambitious? Were people, very crazily obsessed about their stuff and that's how they won? Yes. So copying out their obsession generally makes you rich. You know what happened? Like, go back and you realize that there was a gold rush, right? Where people were digging for gold and everybody wanted to dig gold. And these people who were selling these shovels eventually became rich, right? So they found a way that, okay, fine, I would sell a lot of shovels and everybody wants shovels, right? There is no guarantee that I would, if I dig, I would get gold. So let me just sell shovels. And that's what these lot of these mutual fund guys do. You know what they do? They may build a mutual fund and they would give you a 0 point, they would charge you like 0.1 or maybe 2% or maybe 1% or whatever. This is what hedge fund managers do. They would charge you a flat fees, 1%, 2%, 4%, 0.5% every quarter. And you would end up, if you made money, they will make money. If you don't make money, they will still make money. And if you make a lot of money, they'll make another extra cut out of it. It is really funny, but it is similar to gold rush. This gold rush applies to pretty much every place in society. Okay, from your insurance to your what do you say, to selling you a product on the internet where people are selling you courses on how to trade, on how to do digital marketing, on how to do basically pretty much any get rich quick scheme is part of a gold rush, right? So you have to decipher that. This is what I learned through listening to people on internet. I became educated because there were so many people who were creating videos and all I would do is watch them. I became a certain kind of a person to become rich. There is like this mentality that you build over time, and not everybody can do this. Not everybody is wired in such a way that they would think about, um, you know, doing something bigger. A lot of folks, what happens is they they want to do something great. Okay, they want that dream life, but they don't want to do anything about it. It's the same with me. I want to be fit. I want to have six packs. I want to be a playboy, some dude who looks like a playboy, not really be a playboy, but like some really I want to have a chiseled body, like six pack abs, eight pack abs, whatever I can have, you know a very good jawline, etc., etc. But I don't want to put in the effort to get there because I have a pretty comfortable life. You always need an pain point in a life. My life currently doesn't have really a pain point, and because doesn't have really that pain point, I'm not motivated enough to do something, to change something. And a lot of times this is all you need a pain point. There was a pain point when I needed money. I genuinely needed money. I really wanted to buy that car. I really wanted to buy that house. I really wanted to get out of my family's house. I really wanted to do something for myself. And this is what I was chasing. This is why I was doing everything. I wanted to make my parents proud. I had so many ifs that I really wanted to do something. And the other thing that I did was to build a personality to learn things. I think a lot of people lack this one part, which is they don't have a personality to learn. They have a personality to ask for favors. So there's ChatGPT out there and now, which is insane because when I was starting out, we did not have ChatGPT. There's so much information on your hand that a lot of times I'm just researching stuff on ChatGPT. Like I'm just trying to learn. A lot of times I would Google in, I would learn. So let's say, for example, I was checking out how many people in India have fixed stable jobs. It's about 20%. 20% of India has a job. 20% of India is freelancer. I think 30-40% of India is unemployed or like basically employed within their house. So it would be stay at home moms and other things. And I think around 20 to 30% have businesses. That's what I think, somewhere around that is what the stats were. But I was not looking at the other stats. The main concern for me was the stat of how many people have a fixed job. And when you understand that only 20% of Indians who are adults have a fixed job, you understand why Indians want to have a fixed job, why Indians want that safety net in their life. And eventually, this is how you learn psychology. You learn why people want things, why people react to things, how people react to things. It's also like just knowing how to read people, how to read what they want is a pretty important skills, and these things do add up. I think it's not a straight line ki, I'll start a business and that business will boom, so I'm gonna make a lot of money. No, it is it's about changing an entire life. When I was starting out, any money I made, I put it back into trading or I tried to multiply it. Even when I was not trading, let's say before that, when I was in college, what I would do is I would take about 5,000 rupees from my parents every month, and I would not spend any of that money. So this money was for auto rickshaw. This money was for food. Okay, this money was for any stationery that I need for my college. Everything inclusive of 5,000. Now 5,000 might be a lot for some people who are poor. 5,000 might be nothing for somebody who's rich. But for a middle class family, it was okay to give 5,000 to your son. I mean, sometimes they would give 3,000, sometimes they would give 5,000. Okay. Now, what happened was I was taking this 5,000, but I was not spending a dime out of it. I would walk back to my house from my bus station, which was about, I think, 1.5, 2 kilometers. It would take me like a steady 30, 40 minutes or whatever. I don't remember. No, it was more than 2 kilometers, I think. It would take me around 40, 45 minutes to walk back home. And I would save that 200 rupees or 100 rupees or whatever, 50 rupees, 70. I don't even remember that amount anymore. And a lot of times I would just save this money out and I will just then once like in at the month end I would order stuff from AliExpress, and then I would try to sell that stuff on OLX. I would order PC parts on from OLX, and then sorry, from AliExpress, and then I would try to sell them on OLX. This became my, at that time, bread and butter. This is how I made my first lakh, or I think it was like 60, 70,000, plus some other things. It was about a lakh. This is how I made it. This is how my first lakh was made. I made around 60,000 from actual this thing, and then my base capital was about 40,000 because I had saved money across 1.5 years. So 5,000 across 1.5 years. Um, Plus obviously I had some spends. I had to do some spending, right? So 60K profit, 40K was the initial spend. That 40K I used to build a proper system. That proper system helped me make some videos on the internet back in second year of my college. And that also started my trading journey. If I did not have that computer, I would have probably not been trading, right? So those things kick in, that hunger kicks in, because once you do something of your own and it works, now you understand that, oh, if I do shit, I'm gonna get some sort of response. I'm gonna get something in return. Why is my PC lagging? What the hell? Okay, it should be fine now. I don't know why it was lagging. It was something to do with NVINC. Okay. So once you, why is there so much frame loss? Okay, I don't know. So I think once you learn the pretty much basics of doing things and getting things back in return, you get addicted to that feeling. And eventually this feeling starts increasing. So I got more obsessed once I started making money. Once I started making money in trading, I started getting more obsessed, more obsessed, more obsessed. It was always about obsession. And then I also did this one thing where I cut down clutter from my life. Any friend who was not doing what I wanted to do, cut. I would eventually meet them, have fun with them, like sometimes meet them, sometimes have a chat. But all my talks were always about money and always about doing things. And these people, their talks were always about getting women and getting, eating that one thing, and then, maybe fighting with some other dude for some reason. And they would have beefs in college for no reason. It was a lot of stupid stuff. Sorry. And I would generally maintain my distance from this shit. Because, dude, what are you doing now? You have a 70,000-80,000 rupee job every month, and तुम पहले अपनी गांड घिसते हो 80,000 के लिए, उसके बाद जब स्पेंड करने पे आते हो तो after after spending on your food, groceries, and all that stuff, you're left with like 30-40K to enjoy. God forbid, I don't want to live that life again. Okay, I did not want to do that. I wanted to, and I was ready to do it for a few years, but I eventually wanted to be financially free. The problem is people would want to be financially free, but they would be looking for a magic in their life. And this is what I have a problem with. If you try to look for magic in everything in your life, then you're fucked. Dude, you're fucked if you're trying to look for magic. It's not gonna happen. Nobody's gonna come and put things in your plate. You have to do certain things. Now, there's a lot of luck involved if those things get successful or not, but just trying does give you some sort of experience. It might happen that you would do 100 tries and none of them work, and then you finally die or whatever. But it could be possible that you do 10, 15 tries and then you do learn certain things and your luck does charm up the 16th time. And because of your things that you learned this time around, when you do it, you make it in the 16th time, you handle it better, and then you reach somewhere. That's very important. Having that consistent growth of life it's insanely important. People think it's gonna be that one thing. I'm gonna learn this one skill in trading. I'm gonna have this one setup in trading, and I'm gonna just kill it. Just gonna fucking kill it. It doesn't work like that. You need to keep reinventing time to time. People also think that, okay, I'm gonna have this one product that I'm gonna sell on e-com and it's gonna work, and then I'm gonna make millions, and then boom, done. No, another company starts mass producing that shit and you are out of the business, right? So in any place, you have to learn from whatever mistakes and whatever things that you've done in the past, and then you keep iterating on it, right? You keep learning new and new and new and new stuff, and then you keep challenging yourself on something new. What happens in a job is you take a job, and if it doesn't grow you, because of the salary, because of the paycheck coming in your bank account every year, every month, that growth never happens. Okay, you never grow in life, and because you never grow, because that iteration never happened, and it happens a lot faster in business because you get to learn so much in business. Because that iteration never happens, you stay stagnant, right? You do not grow, and you might grow on a year to year basis, but on a month to month basis, on a week to week basis, you are not growing. When I first took my internship, I was growing on a day to day basis. I did not know shit before those internships. I knew a lot after those internships. I was learning, trying to learn and learning every single fucking day. And once I thought that, okay, I've learned what I wanted to learn, I know a few people now, I know how these people function, I quit and I changed my shit. Now, there were other reasons to quit, but at that time, there was a lot going on in my mind. I did, I would say, though, it's not possible for everybody to take exponential amount of risk, but taking risk on things which give you compounded return has to be the top one primary thing that you want to do in life. Okay. Now, the other part I want to go through is hard work. Okay. A lot of these people, what they say is, you want to do a lot of hard work, you want to do a lot of smart work, and all of those things. Hard work, people get things wrong with hard work. Hard work is, um, you know, going and lifting weights in gym. Hard work is not the problem. Everybody can do hard work. If I will tell you to do, go to accounts, ठीक है, अपनी कंपनी को लो, उसके पूरे अकाउंट्स लो, मैनेज करो, इट माइट बी अ हार्ड वर्क, क्योंकि 1-2 घंटा तुम्हारा दिमाग खराब होगा, तुम्हारे को सब कुछ लिस्ट करना है ऑफ वॉट एवर यू हैव डन थ्रू आउट द ईयर. If I tell you that, okay, you need to code this shit and you need to write it all down, and now you need to code this, coding it down might be the hard work, right? But you know what's more important? That is the will. The will to do something is the hardest thing, and it is where pretty much everybody loses. Most people do not have a will to do something. Okay, most people dream about something big, but then they do not do anything. They do not take any actions. When I wanted to do US markets, like I want to trade US markets, I traded US markets. I found my way in. I contacted more and more people and I tried to find my way in. I'm telling you, even if the ways that I've got today would have not existed, I would have found my way in to US markets because I was obsessed. Okay, because I had grit. Okay, because I had, what do you call it? I think it was grit and obsession and tenacity and whatever those words are there. There is this one very good word, persistence. Because I had persistence, I would try my best to find ways to get into trading. I did not ask anybody questions. I chat GPT the shit out of it. I contacted all my contacts. Get me a way to fucking trade US markets. That was my goal. I wanted to be there. That's pretty much it. I have to do it. There's no way around it. I have to fucking do it. Okay? And people do not understand it. It took me 10 days, 15 days. Constantly, I was bugging everybody I knew, and I found ways. I got my first trade in. Then I got 2 trades in. Then I got 10 trades in. But I found my way. I found my way on how to backtest these strategies. Dude, everybody still asks me how to do it. Bro, there's a complete internet out there. Search a shit out. Find your way out of it. Why do you have to ask me if I'm doing it successfully? Why do you need to? There is an internet out there. I learned through the internet. You can learn through it too. I just want to check my PNL. One second. What's my PNL? What's my PNL? Okay. It's around $2,000. It's fine. It's not that bad. For today. Okay. So where was I? Yeah. I found my way through it. I was persistent enough to try to find a way out of it, and I did find my way out of it. A lot of times you won't find a way out. Like there are still things that I need to figure out, right? There are still ways or modes of payment, modes of transferring of money, getting new clients. These are still things that I have to find a way around. I have it in the back of my mind. Every now and then, I keep researching about which country can offer me best company source, which country can I go and live in if I want to do it on a big scale. How can I scale it? There are people I paid $300 to just talk to so that I can get an understanding of what can be my future prospect in my life. Which country I might want to shift to, what expenses I might want to decrease or increase or do shit so that I can be better at my current life. I'm trying my best to find ways. And there are other people who just waste their entire life doing nothing. So, yeah, I think that will to do something is extremely important. You know why I'm fat? Because I don't have the will to go to the bloody gym. Okay, I have my diet coke here. I have my good tasty food there. I can eat it all day. Nobody can say shit to me because it's my money, and I don't have that will. I don't have that trigger point in my mind. And that is why I'm not able to do it. The day I get that trigger point, the day I reach that place where I'm miserable as fuck, I think I'm gonna do it. I think it's gonna be at 100 kilograms, but I don't want to go there. I'm happy at my 90, and I want to stay below 90, and I want to slowly decrease my weight to 70s. That's my goal, but it's still fascinating to me. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next video. Till then, bye bye. I think my parents are here, and I think it's been 21 minutes of me yapping. So I hope it was helpful to anybody who is trying to figure out what to do. Bye bye bye.